The weekend officially began with Dan, whose midwinter rules hit the group chat while we were still on the highway. He insisted that running late didn't matter, but he was strict about the menu. Anything that felt like a hard no-no for your taste buds would get a firm nope at the door. He added that you don't need to be an ace in the kitchen to contribute, just showing up is enough. He finished with a note that we'd need a little luck to all stay awake past midnight. Fred was the one who hosted this year. His place isn't decorated so much as built for comfort. Coats where you can find them, extra socks by the door, and a steady fire going against the cold. Inside, he had strung up some lights, but outside, the street was a mess of parked cars and slush, and the shaded steps had a stubborn ice shine. The air smelled sharp, like pine. As we parked, the driver grumbled that calling a cab would have been smarter than fighting the slush, but he remembered we'd rather spend that money on food. Just as the first phone was plugged into a charging port, the doorbell dinged. Jade arrived first with cherry pastries, ear warmers, and a look that said she was done talking about work for the year. Gus followed right behind, carrying a glazed ham. Before anyone even sat down, our host had cocoa warming for the lightweights and a heavy cider mulled with spices simmering on the stove. He opened a jar of jam on the counter that made the bread feel like a real plan. One guest put out a sign that read, "Pie comes later," which is the most reliable lie of the season. Platters filled the table fast. Veggies on a tray, a crisp green salad with pear sliced thin and fig tucked in the corners, and a bowl of nut brittle that was bought specifically for texture. The host poured rosé, took a sip, and joked that the vintage was mid, trying way too hard to be Gen Z, before he proclaimed, "Alas," and drank it anyway. Over the meal, the conversation drifted easily. Talk turned to corporate lingo, mocking how emails use paragraphs of text to say absolutely nothing. One of us sighed that wasted time is just the DNA of the office these days. The reaction from across the table was completely deadpan. "Wow, neat." She held the serious face for exactly 3 seconds before cracking up hard enough to cry with laughter. After dinner, the host insisted we brave the cold to see the famous neighborhood light display. He pulled up a map on his app, asked for a volunteer to pick the route, and promised the trip would be worth it, yet fast. Nobody believed it, but as true friends do, we went anyway. At the bend in the road, the street exploded with color. We passed fences wrapped in bright red lights and stumbled onto an impromptu neighborhood gig on a front lawn. A guy was actually playing a tuba wrapped in tinsel, blasting carols into the night. Above the music, the moon was sharp, and a half-serious argument started about whether that brighter point was actually Mars. We paused to take a quick snap to remember this moment, because holidays like this are rare. Back at the house, the night felt anchored, like the time with friends was truly the meaning of the season. The room got calm in the best way. A bright star topped the tree, and for dessert, we had the pie with a side of warm custard. The host did a quick trim of the clutter on the table, and our laughter filled the vacuum of the quiet house, proving that good company is the only decoration you really need. Selecting a vintage record to spin, one of the group claimed the best spot on the couch for a 5-minute nap that turned into real rest. A laugh broke out when another friend found a ridiculous felt elf on the shelf and set it facing the room like it had opinions. Everyone stayed up longer than planned, did a quick summary of the year, good parts, rough parts, the stuff we're still carrying, and then let it go. We called it a core memory, though a warning came not to start a tradition we'd have to maintain. "This family is already high maintenance,"
he teased, and the comfortable silence that followed told us we were finally home.